These are the 6 ways Chelsea can stay the greatest team in England. In the first season of Antonio Conte's galvanising reign, Chelsea romped to the Premier League title and won a record-breaking 30 games. After an underwhelming start and a disappointing October loss at Arsenal, Conte went full-on Italian job with the West London side and implemented the 3-4-3 formation that he used so successfully with Juventus and the Azzurri. Following the change, Chelsea immediately went on an emphatic 13 games in a row winning spree and didn't look over their shoulder again for the rest of the campaign. But after the season ended on a duff note with the FA Cup disappointment, the rumour mill's rusty cogs started whirring with oligarch oil, and summer changes at Stamford Bridge are inevitable. With a Champions League campaign to plan for, a Premier League trophy to protect, and a second season syndrome to avoid, here's what Chelsea have to do over the next few months to freshen things up, glue things together, and keep motivation high. Get rid or strap down Costa. Diego Costa might be the kind of guy who'd walk up to you in a club, undo all the buttons on your shirt, and crush your drink with his hairy hands and a big smile on his face. But he's also the kind of guy who scores goals. Costa's 20 league goals last season were instrumental in the title charge, and his ability to distract 3 defenders at once creates acres of space for Hazard, Willian, and Pedro to do their thing. But Conte still isn't convinced. A leaked text message from Conte to Costa in the summer holidays apparently revealed that he was no longer in his plans, and if that's the case, he needs to be replaced. Lukaku from Everton is the obvious choice, and although the Toffees will want a big wedge, at 24 and with an already existing relationship with the club, Chelsea should and probably will splash the cash. The transfer could also bring out the best in a sideline Batshuayi, who has spent a lot of time with his hands in his pockets on the bench this year. Think about a Plan B formation. After Conte's 3-4-3 system brought instant glory, the formation went viral across the country. As Chelsea ran away with the title, everyone from struggling League Two sides to Gareth Southgate's England attempted to emulate the system, as if the complex system was as easy to master as yelling, "Get rid of it," to a bunch of blokes on a grey Sunday morning at Hackney Marshes. It's not. It requires very specific players in very specific areas of the pitch and an absolute dedication to the cause. However, the Premier League's top clubs will have been practicing matching Conte's 3-4-3 all summer, and the Italian might have to contemplate a Plan B for when things get sticky. A switch to a 4-4-2 could bring an element of surprise to Chelsea's game, especially if Bakayoko arrives to shore up the centre of the park with Conte and Hazard fancies a go just off Lukaku up front. A change of formation isn't necessary, but it's definitely something to contemplate as the summer rolls through and as other sides practice their counteracting 3-4-3s. Keep Conte happy. Conte is an incredibly tenacious, ambitious and inspiring man, but also a demanding one. Big boy vultures had started to circle recently when newspapers started to report that Conte was unhappy with the lack of transfer activity and the profile of the board's targets. It was most likely complete nonsense, but he does have history with leaving clubs abruptly. He left Juventus in a big strop in 2014 after revolutionising their system and winning 3 Serie A trophies in a row, and there's no reason to think that he might not do that again. Chelsea need to ensure this doesn't happen, and the best way to do this is with transfer activity. Abramovich has got all the coins, and Conte would like to use them. With Chelsea linked to Alexandro, Virgil van Dijk, Romelu Lukaku and Bakayoko, they should sign the contracts off and give Conte the reassurance that he has the backing to challenge Europe's elite on midweek nights this season. Bring in the next Hazard. If Bakayoko arrives and Matic departs, that gives Chelsea an even stronger lock on the centre of the pitch. Kante and Bakayoko are both talented interceptors and destroyers, and this would give the 4 lads in front of them even more freedom, and Cesc Fabregas the opportunity to come on and score goals off the bench. With this, perhaps it's time for Chelsea to try and bring in the next Eden Hazard. The Belgian was sensational last year, weaving in and out of players like their orange cones, but with Paris and Madrid cooling, he won't be at Chelsea forever. With the confidence of a title win and a solid centre midfield base for protection, Chelsea should look at bringing in the next big talent for Hazard to nurture. We're not saying there's someone as good as him out there, but he will eventually leave, and Christian Pulisic from Dortmund would be the perfect player for Hazard to take under his wing and let loose on the Premier League. Buy an Italian general. With Nathan Ake most likely on his way to Bournemouth, Chelsea should focus on purchasing an experienced centre-back. Gary Cahill played well last year, but has looked wobbly against top opposition and could come under pressure in Champions League games. A ball-winning Italian general would fit in perfectly with both the manager and the system, and Leonardo Bonucci is that man. If Chelsea can persuade him to sit along Azpilicueta and David Luiz, their 18-yard box will become even more of a no-go zone. Get Frank in as a coach. With Steve Holland leaving to take over the assistant coach role within the England setup at the end of last season, Chelsea should look towards filling the position with someone connected to the club. Someone like Frank Lampard. Frank came back to Chelsea to complete his coaching badges this winter, and after perhaps learning his trade in the MLS in a similar vein to Patrick Vieira, who would be better equipped to join Chelsea in a coaching capacity? Lampard's devotion to the club can never be questioned, and his integrity as a footballer is next level. Get Frank in as a coach, and maybe we could even see a Chelsea Academy player properly break through. Just maybe. That was Copper 90's 6 ways Chelsea can stay the greatest team in England. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.